There's something I want you to do. I want you to imagine walking the streets of East Legon and just walking past Pinkberry with a 5-year-old child. And the child says they want ice cream. So you walk into Pinkberry, and when you walk into Pinkberry, you see they have the cone that you usually scoop the ice cream and you put it on. So imagine that you buy one cone for yourself and you buy one for the child, and they scoop a few ice creams on the cone, and you and this child come out of Pinkberry and you're walking. And as you're walking, by the time you realize, the ice cream wobbles off the cone and then it falls down. And so the ice cream that you bought for that child has, gone to waste. It's messed up. You can't eat it again. And as you carry on with this child, you come across another ice cream venture or another ice cream vendor, and you enter into the place. And this time around, the child is screaming, "Daddy, daddy, daddy," or "Mommy, mommy, mommy," or "Uncle, uncle," or "Big brother," or whatever name he calls you. And he says that, "I want the cone that comes with 3. Okay. As thoughtful, as caring, as compassionate, as loving as you are, it's so easy for you to then say that, "Oh, okay, let me get it for that child." But upon second thought, a reality will hit you that when you walked past Pinkberry and you bought that cone, just the single one, and just took a scoop or 2 for the child could not handle it well. How much more the ice cream cone that comes in 3 tiers, and you are now going to put an extra scoop on it? If you think about that scenario very well, you're going to think of getting the child maybe an ice cream that's in a cup, so that the ice cream can be properly managed by that child, as against getting the child an ice cream that is in a cone. What's the lesson I'm trying to teach you here? Until you show yourself worthy, and until you bring yourself to a place where you can handle something that has been given unto you, more will not be given unto you. If you are not able to handle what you have got, what is the guarantee that you'll be able to handle that which will come? Today on the Millionaire Mind Mastery series, I present to you something the rich do differently from the poor. Rich people know how to manage their money well. Poor people mismanage their money. Rich people, they know how to manage their money well. Poor people, they mismanage the resources that comes to them. That analogy I gave you is just for you to set the tone for the conversation. And so welcome to the Millionaire Mind Mastery series with Moses B. Arthur. I want you to click, subscribe to this channel. It is the hub of constant, consistent value. Over here, I'm passionate about you learning. I'm passionate about you being built. I'm passionate about you being transformed. And I'm passionate about you being established in the truths that will make you become a victor and a success at life. So rich people know very well how to manage their resources. They know very well how to manage their monies or their inflows that comes to them. You have heard me say a couple of times that making money is an action, maintaining it is a behavior, multiplying it is knowledge. And so if you go through the previous teachings that I have done right here on this series, you would come to a place to understand that I categorically spoke about the various behavioral patterns that either we have learned by means of watching, either we have learned by means of listening, either we have learned by means of experiencing. So the various behavioral patterns that we embody as people has a long way to affect the monies that come into us. So a case in point is, the other day somebody asked me for some amount of money, and the person was not asking for that money as a loan. The person was asking for that money as a gift. And I told the person, I said that I plead with you, I have exhausted my charity account for the month. And the person was, "Oh, MBA, you are wicked. MBA this, a whole MBA. How can you, MBA, I asked you for money this." And I said to myself, I said, if my resources or my finances go down, this person will in no way come and save me whatsoever. And there's something interesting the person said. The person said, "MBA, can you take a loan for me at least?" And I asked the person, "Will you ever take a loan for me?" The person was quiet. So what did I do? I had an account for charity. So there's an account that leaves or there's an account that I deposit money into for the purpose of charity, and when that account is exhausted, it's exhausted, maybe until the next month. Saying or learning how to say no is actually one of the strongest and surest ways of managing your finances. I'm not saying that you should not be compassionate. I'm not saying that you should not give to the people in your world, or I'm not saying that the people that come to you should not be of a blessing to them. However, you should know when to draw the cap and when there should be a limit. Can you imagine somebody telling me to go for a loan for the person? Then I would at the end of the day work and still come back and pay, and that person would just have spent the money. And I asked the person, would you actually go for a loan for me? And the person said no. Remember that we are creatures of habit. It is very, very important then for you to learn about the habit of managing your money. It is very important if you want to succeed as a rich person. The rich know and understand this, and they put it to the test. And this is the reason why I've heard people say that this person, he's rich, but he's stingy. This person, he's... People, if he goes down today, none of you will show up to come and help him. And that is one of the things that the poor do not understand. The poor mismanage funds. So money comes into their hands and they want to think of all of the things that they can buy. Let me give you an example. One of the easiest ways to managing your resources and your finances is to look for alternative ways of purchasing things. Listen to me. One of the ways of managing your finances is to look for alternative ways of purchasing things. Alternative ways of purchasing things. In principle, you would understand that the more your income increases, the more your expenditure also increases. The more your income increases, the more your expenditure increases. So if you are not going to be very intentional in managing your expenditure, you're going to run at a huge loss. Let me give you an example. I remember I was going to travel to Dubai with some brothers of mine, and we had come into some amount of money at the time. So I shared with them, and then me who had shared the thing with them, I said, brother, I think that this Dubai that we're going, we should all go and shop from Medina. So one of my brothers went to a particular shop. I'm not going to mention the name. And when he went to that particular shop, the same jeans that you and I wear, he bought that jeans for 700 Ghana cedis. And I said, wait, jeans, 700 Ghana cedis. Okay, what is the goal here? Then I went back to Medina, and I still remember I went with one of my mentees called David, and we combed through Medina. We went through a particular joint, and then we looked at the jeans, wholesale jeans, the same as the one the person went to buy for 700 cedis. We bought it for 80 Ghana cedis at Medina. I actually bought two. And when we went to Dubai, we both rocked it. Funny enough, everybody watching us was saying, you both look nice. I didn't go telling the other person that I bought it for 80 cedis. Neither did he also go telling the other person that he bought it for 700 cedis. But have we both managed money? Yes and no. I managed money. He did not manage money, because it's the same jeans at the end of the day. So one of the ways by which you get to manage your resources is to have alternate ways to run your expenditure. This is the reason why if you live in Accra, they always say Accra stay by plan. You're not going to spend every inflow that comes into your hands buying from the latest fast food joint. Your money would be done. But in Accra, you can be strategic and have your ball of banku done for you. You can have your stew, you can have your noodles at home, you can have your yam. And strategically, what you're doing is that you are managing the resources that God has blessed you with when it comes to the aspect of your eating and your dieting. And so it's very, very important that you come up with diversified ways of managing your resources, especially on expenditure, because truth of the matter is that problem no dey finish. Problem no dey finish. So life will keep bringing its own wahala at you, but you are the one that's supposed to look at it. So you have to buy a white shirt. Must you walk into a boutique at East Legon to buy a white shirt? Sadly, we live in a generation where, because of online stores and stuff, a lot of you buy things on social media now. Online vendors go to places like Medina, go to places like Accra. They go and pick these things at base price. They take pictures with it, iron it very nice, and they come and sell it to you 350, 800, especially for the women dresses. And you people are so pumped up about it. The other day, I had a friend of mine who bought a female dress for 600 Ghana cedis, and I said, hold up. I have somebody in Accra that if we pay 120 Ghana cedis today, they will bring you the same thing, and you all rock it very well, and you both will look good. You know, it's a perspective to this thing called life. And that's one of the things that I have realized with the rich. One of the things that the rich do is that they put They intentionally budget and put finances or budgeting around everything that they do so that they can track the inflows and outflows of their resources. One of the things that I entreat of you is to have different accounts for different purposes. Different accounts for different purposes. I learned this very early from one of my big brothers called Daniel Boatinkusi. I remember he made me open an account with Data Bank, so that became my investment account as a young student in the university. He made me create an EcoBank account. The EcoBank account was my savings, so I would save a particular percentage of that into my EcoBank account. He made me create an Access Bank account. The Access Bank account was for my long-term goals and projects, so I put money into my long-term goals and my long-term projects. He made me create an education account, and funny enough, I used to just do little bits and pieces of my monies into that education account. I never thought it would become something that meant anything till I recently wanted to do my master's, and I went back to that account. I had some money in there, I topped up, and then I went in to go study for my master's degree. And so it's very important that as a rich person or as somebody who is seeking to be rich, you have different strategies and different ways to manage your resources and your finances. It is something that the rich know how to do. The poor, in their thinking, they mismanage money anyhow, and it can be very, very costly. It's so important for you to understand that a key component of your success when it comes to money or financial resources is how well you manage them, and it is all tied to your behavior. You are a product of your habits and your behavior. And so if you have built over a period of time poor and negative habits that make you spend money, some of you, the moment you see something on the dot and it's not on your budget, you want to buy, so you are spendthrift, you spend on the go, impulse buying. All of those things drain money out of you. All of those things will never help you cultivate a proper money habit. And one of the things that I'll close the conversation today with is that you need to be able to separate your needs from your wants. Whenever you want to buy something, ask yourself, this thing that I want to buy, is it a need? A need is something that you can't live without. Like we breathing air, it's a need. So we can't live without air or we'll die. So always ask yourself, this thing, is it a need or is a want? The other day, somebody came to me and said, MBA, my phone is messed up. And I said, okay. And I connected the person to somebody who sells phones, and I said, you can get a Samsung from this person at this price. And the person said, MB, I want an iPhone. Then I asked the person, do you need a phone or you need an iPhone? They were quiet. And I told the person, currently your need is that you need a phone. You don't need an iPhone, you need a phone. What do you need a phone for? To be able to receive messages, to be able to check what's happening in your world, to be able to receive calls and make calls, and to make your movements handy. But if you come to tell me that you need an iPhone, at that point in time, I begin to wonder what exactly is wrong with you. And I told that person, I said, your needs and wants, the metrics for those things, they are not in check. You need an iPhone because you are probably seeking external validation, but what you actually need is a phone. And so this is something that the rich have learned how to do, and they have learned how to master. Money is a very big or a very important facet of our lives that the moment you begin to pay attention to how well you are managing it, how well it is coming to you, how well you are taking it out, trust me, your life will begin to soar on a certain pedestal. Your life will begin to scale at a certain height. And so I want you to place your hand on your forehead like we always do and declare, mention your name. I, Moses Arthur, I am an excellent money manager. I want you to type that in the comment section. Type your name and declare over yourself that you are an excellent money manager. Most importantly, I want you to sit down and do an audit. If you do not have an account for charity, have an account for charity. If you do not have an account for savings, have an account for savings. If you do not have an account for long-term goals, have an account for long-term goals. If you do not have an account for investments, have an account for one. If you do not have an account for emergencies, have an account for one. Listen, if you do not have an account to pamper and spoil yourself, have an account for one, so that at the end of the day, every time inflow comes to you, you know what percentage goes where, you know what percentage goes here. And at that point in time, case in point, if you exhaust your your charity account, there's nothing anybody should say that should move you to go and touch money from anywhere. This is one of the ways you can consistently grow your income and your wealth. It is something the rich know, it is something the rich do, it is something the rich practice. My question to you is that, are you somebody who manages money well, or you are somebody who mismanages money? And so I want you to finish, do a self-audit and say to yourself, you are an excellent money manager. I hope that this content has blessed you. The rich always know and understand that they have to manage money well. The poor, they mismanage money anyhow. I hope that this one has blessed you. Like, subscribe and share. Copy the link, post it on your status so that somebody can be blessed by this truth. My name is Moses B. Arthur. Love and light. Cheers, guys.